Hey, what's going on, guys? Caucasian Mark here, whitest dude on the internet. Today we are talking about a cool thing called borders. Borders are fun. I like using borders when I'm styling to know how certain elements are touching or how they're set up. As you're getting more complex stuff together, smashing stuff together, you may be like, hey, how is this lining up with that? Am I selecting the right thing? You kind of want an idea of how your elements are moving around the page, and so that's why I typically use borders, but there's other reasons as well. But we're going to go through a few ways you can make borders. Good stuff here. So let's come into here and say we wanted to do something along the lines of, let's move this down here because Adam is not sensing that I'm cutting it off here. So if we come down into here, we have this whole big list here. So if we want to do dashed, go ahead and save it in here. Move this down below a bit more. When we refresh, we see around our header, which is where we put it in our file there, we have a dashed, border around the H1 tag. Now let me accent this by removing that. So we see it's dashed right there. That's cool stuff. I guess nothing possibly, breathtaking. We could do dotted. Come down into there and it's dotted, and it's kind of the rinse and repeat, right? You go to like W3 Schools or anywhere else and see all the different kinds of borders you want. You can even do stuff like none, which is nice because say something already comes with a border, or you get a file and there is a border, or say you're even, like I said earlier, trying to outline some of these elements you're using and you want that border style there just in case you have to do some minor editing later. You could come back in and type in none here, and then later come in and say, I want double for whatever reason. And then you could have that there just to kind of see how things are working, and then say, oh, everything's cool. I'm going down to do none. And it lines up fine there. So that's, kind of the basic border styles there. We could do other things like ridge, which I guess has a 3D-ish kind of look there. Another, I guess, fun one maybe is outset. Kind of gives the drop down, the shadowing here, and this kind of lighter opacity up here as well. Kind of cool looking. It makes it kind of, pseudo stand out at you. And let's see what else we want to do. For border, let's come down into here. Other things we do with the border. Say you wanted to do border width, we could do something like thick. We make it a bit thicker overall, so the lines that are being used by the style are being enhanced, so to speak. We could also do, say, let's just do 100 pixels. Remove that up there. And we can see that we are definitely increasing the, I wouldn't even say it's 3D at this point, I'm not sure, but you can see we could definitely affect the outset style there and just kind of blast it out at us. Now say we want to come back down to 1 pixel, it's very, very microscopic here. I've always wanted to do this. Let's see if we just do negative 10 pixels. What happens when we do that? Oh, it kind of shoots back on out by itself. Interesting. I just wanted to do that, just to throw out a negative number and see what it does. So come back in here. Even 10 pixels really introduces a much bolder looking outset border style that we're using up here as well. Fun stuff there. So we could even come in and do other stuff like border. We do border color, so we could do stuff like let's just say brown, because brown is sexy. And now it's like a brown red color. And we come in here, you have nothing going on in here, and I guess it's just the outset. Let's see if I did dashed, if that would change it at all. Yeah, it seems to be the same color with the brown going around, but if we use the outset, it appears that it's using two different colors there. similar to each other in the hues or whatever the name for them are, but that is interesting there. So you can also change the border color as well. You can change the width, which obviously makes this a bit thicker from the original border style. Good stuff there. And let's play with one more. What other cool stuff could you do with borders? I never really use borders at all. You could also, let's see here, make a border on top, left, right, bottom. So if you want, almost have like a pseudo underlining going on, you could do that as well. Especially it's nice if you're trying to see if there's an image or some kind of element below it. You want to see how much space is in between. If there's something we're going to get into later, padding or the margins wide, you want to see you know, where your element ends and the next one begins. And so let's just keep scrolling through here. We could do a border image as well if we wanted to. I've never really ever used that, but you can make as a border image if you wanted to, you know, make something really tiny to wrap around here, maybe like a gradient image. Who knows? So let's do one more fun one I haven't really used a whole lot. Let's try and do, so we already have style, top. There was one in here I saw I wanted to play with here for a minute. Let's do collapse. All right, let's see what it does. And nothing. That's interesting. Let me do this again. Separate. Let's try this. Come down in here. And nothing happens. So I have no clue what the border collapse is doing right now. It was just me screwing around. But that's the basic idea of borders. You can style them. You can play with the width. You can play with what, you know, if they're dashed, dotted, outset, what kind of a 3D appeal you want to, whether you want on the top, bottom, left, or right. All the other good stuff. Basically the same stuff you can do with the background, except it's a very, I guess, specific kind of background you want or surrounding area. It's been Caucasian Mark. Like, share, subscribe, contribute. All the other good stuff. And I will see you in the next lovely, sexy video. Give it a thumbs up.